two niggas spoiling movies. Yeah. Brandon Collins, that's me, and Justin Brown for your movie needs. Medium popcorn. Woo! You haven't seen it, well, we're gonna spoil it. Spoil it in your face. That's your warning. So if you get pissed, it's all your fault. Woo-hoo. Woo-hoo. What's up, Little Biscuits and Sun-Dried Tomatoes? It's your boy, Brandon Collins, and we are waiting for Justin Brown to hopefully join us at some point. But until we get to that, of course, you all saw the title. We are finally talking about Howard the Duck. A lot of fans are like, oh, y'all haven't done this yet? This is going to be a crazy episode. But before we get to the madness that is Howard the Duck, we have a fantastic guest, Caseen Gaines, author, director, educator. How the hell are you?
I am great. How are you?
Very good. I'm very excited to have you on. As I was telling you before we started recording, I found out about you because you were writing a book about Black Broadway. Yeah. And like, I was just like, oh man, like that's something, because I do a show called Drunk Black History where we talk about Black figures and events that haven't gotten their due. And by that, we mean like no one knows about them, even in, like, whether it's mainstream media or just like in history classes in across the country, which even more concerning now, given where a lot of states are moving. But I gravitated towards that, and then also started doing some digging and found out you're kind of a movie nerd, similar to me, but
movie nerd. Yeah.
But you actually write about them versus just getting on a microphone and ranting madness about your cinematic adventures.
You know what? But nerds come in all shapes and sizes. You know what I mean? Right. Writing nerds, ranting nerds. It's all the same thing. So we're all in the same fight here, fighting the cinematic wars. Yeah.
So. Tell us a little bit about the past projects. I know you've written about Pee-wee's Playhouse. You've written about A Christmas Story, which is very interesting because we reviewed that. And I remember being like, I don't quite get the reverence for this movie. Like, I feel like there's a lot more Christmas classics, but that also could just be my personal taste, right? Like, I can't go a Christmas without watching the OG How to Grinch Stole Christmas. I can't.
Okay.
But however, that's harder to find out. Whereas A Christmas Story, 24 hours. That's available on TV. So like, what was it about that movie that made you like want to write that piece?
It's funny with A Christmas Story, because for me, I see that movie like I think differently than most people. I don't even think of it as like really a Christmas movie to me. Like, it's just sort of a movie about being a kid, because at least for me growing up, like being a kid was being told no all the time. Like, can I stay up late? No. Can I eat, chocolate ice cream for breakfast? No. Can I hang out with my friends? No. And that movie is just this kid who over and over and over again is being told no, he can't get his BB gun for Christmas, and he keeps trying all these different avenues. So I know it's kind of like a Christmas classic. I didn't grow up with it really as a kid. I guess I did, maybe like late elementary school, middle school-ish, like not like a little kid. But I just think like all those little vignettes of childhood, to me, it's kind of like the Little Rascals. It's not even like connected to Christmas in a really strong way in my mind, but yeah.
That's fair. Little Rascals. I have such a conflicted history with Little Rascals because I started watching that. My grandmother was very old when she was raising me, when she helped raise me, and she used to show me a lot of the old Little Rascal videos without any context. Right.
Okay.
She would show me that, and then she was like, "Okay, so now you understand these characters, right? And you also know Buckwheat." I was like, "Well, I have to know Buckwheat. He's the only Black person here." She's like, "Okay." Now, mind you, she had been showing me these videos for probably conservatively at least a year, if not more, at this point. Then she's like, "Okay, now you understand Buckwheat." Then she put in a VHS of Eddie Murphy Best of SNL, where Buckwheat got shot, and she's like, "You're gonna understand this joke now." I was like, "That's what I was like." Oh, this is a long payoff.
You're like, "Thanks, Grandma. Can I go to kindergarten now?" Wow, that was a lot. A lot to handle there.
Yeah, but okay, so you also recently wrote a book called When Broadway Was Black: The Triumphant Story of the All-Black Musical That Changed the World. Please tell our listeners about that, because I'm sure they'd be really interested to hear about the story and pick it up.
Sure. So it's a book about a musical called Shuffle Along, which is from 1921, way back over a century ago. And this was the musical that gave Josephine Baker her start on Broadway way back when. It was the first musical to desegregate the orchestra section of a Broadway house. It was this huge phenomenon, and it was with an all-Black cast, creative team, writers, producers. It was kind of outstanding in that regard, and but it's kind of been forgotten by history. The one kind of entry point for a lot of people is the song "I'm Just Wild About Harry," which people might know from like the Looney Tunes or something like that. That song comes from this show, even though people don't necessarily associate it with this show. Yeah. So the book was kind of looking at how this all-Black musical came to be, and then also what a big success it was, and ultimately what contributed to it kind of being forgotten by history over the last 100 years.
Nice. I mean, yeah, Josephine Baker, her story is incredible. We've talked about that on Drunk Black History, but I mean, how much research did you do into this story? And like, when did you know that you maybe were done? Well, at least done in this iteration of.
Well, talking about research, I'm looking right now at my desk that I'm sitting at, and what you can't see is that it's a hot mess, even though the book is done. So, for me, you're never really done. You're just kind of, you're done when like, an editor, starts saying like, where's my draft? And then you kind of go like, oh, you'll have it like tomorrow. And then you kind of do a lot of work. But no, I mean, I'm always kind of like tinkering with all the things that I've written. And with that book in particular, it was interesting because it came out in 2021 with a different title. And I wanted to go back and continue to tinker around with it when it was coming out in paperback. And so I added so much that the publisher ended up just changing the name because we did so much. So yeah, I love that book so much. Like, I'm really proud of it. I've written a book on Back to the Future. I've written a book on which is my sort of entryway into Leah Thompson there. But I wrote a book on The Dark Crystal and E.T. So and I write articles all the time too. And I wrote an article, an oral history on Howard the Duck, where I interviewed so many people associated with this movie. So I can, if there are questions about like, why in the world did they do this or that with this movie, I might have a little bit of an answer for you for some of these things.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, folks, definitely please check out this book, When Broadway Was Black, The Triumphant Story of the All-Black Musical That Changed the World. I have it in my bookcase. Actually, it's right behind me, but I have like 4 other books right before it, but I'm going to get to it. I can't wait to read it.
At least folks, bump one. Like, get me at least
I will.
third.
I will.
Line. All right.
I will, because I haven't, because I haven't fully updated it yet, because like right above you, unfortunately, is the Will autobiography.
It's really good. It's good.
I know, that's what I keep hearing, but I'm gonna
skip okay, I'll allow you. Read Will first. Okay, that's fine.
I'm gonna skip for you. Now, to talk about the movie we're gonna get into. So here's the thing. So we had never done Howard the Duck, and I know our producer reached out to you. I don't know, why did you pick Howard the Duck?
So I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if you know this part of the story. I gave a list of maybe like 8 or 9 things. So Howard the Duck, like someone on your end chose Howard the Duck. I don't know if it was your producer, if it was you, but and it was funny because it was like, I think it was the last thing on the list. Like, I just like threw in like, and Howard the Duck. And I had a feeling, I was like, they're gonna pick Howard the Duck, aren't they? So, but you know what? Howard the Duck is the real reason why I chose it is because it's a movie that is so like obviously flawed, right? Like, I mean, obviously, but I think it's a movie that there are things to like in the movie. So I think, I mean, I don't know what your feeling was about it, but I feel like because there were things to like in it, but everyone knows it's a flawed movie, it seems like a good one to kind of talk about,
That is fair. Now, like, you've obviously seen this before. So when was the first time you saw Howard the Duck? Because this came out in 1986.
Yeah. So my grandfather was a notorious video bootlegger who would just like record everything from HBO, and he had this really great archived collection of like VHS tapes, and Howard the Duck was one of them. And so I saw it. Honestly, I probably was in the crib the first time I saw it because my grandfather would babysit and he didn't care what I was watching. You know what I mean? I was like a kid. So with that, Howard the Duck was a movie that when I was young, I would literally watch it on VHS, and then I would like pop the tape out and I would rewind it back to the beginning, and I would just go back and watch it. But I was like 5, you know what I mean? Okay, so like you have to forgive me to some extent.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's movies that I was doing the same thing that were absolutely bonkers.
But I've seen it. I can't even imagine how many times I've seen it as a kid, but like as an adult person, I've probably seen it maybe, I don't know, maybe 8, 9 times or so, something like that.
8, 9 times as an adult. I mean, okay, that's
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So like, this was your first time seeing it?
This is my first time seeing Howard the Duck. I don't know, Justin, who just joined us. I don't know if Justin's seen it before, but
I've seen it in bits. I know parts of the movie that I was like, oh yeah, I remember this, but I'm just like, this was an experience to say the least.
Now that Justin's here, I mean, I'm just going to go in because I did not expect within 2 minutes, we have this like kind of fuckboy duck that's immediately grabbing beers, looking at pornography of duck tits. Then doesn't he walk by he walks by a video of a porn video too. He's got a magazine and he's got a video of a duck tits, or it was like the neighbor, when he shot through the neighbor's apartment, she was like topless.
And
I was like,
she's in the bathtub
and I'm just like,
and the little ducky nipples are out. I'm like, what is happening right now? What am I seeing? And this is also like that point in because this was 1986.
Yes.
So this was before the Ninja Turtles movie and things like that. So this was like that old, because this wasn't Jim
Henson.
No.
This was a Lucas film. This was George Lucas produced this film.
Yes.
Well, which is like its own brand of kind of like crazy,
Well, according to our producer and researcher Lluvia's findings, okay, at the time of this movie's release, George Lucas had just built a $50 million Skywalker Ranch complex and was counting on this movie to get him back into black. When it bombed, he was forced to start selling off assets to stay afloat.
Sounds about right.
This movie broke a lot of things. Like the director, he never worked again.
Yeah.
Yep. This is a career killer. This is a career killer for sure. This almost kind of trashed canned Marvel before Marvel even started. Like that's what's nuts.
This is considered the first official like Marvel movie, or not official, but like,
well, technically it was Captain America in like 1944 or something like that.
Really?
Yeah, there was an old school Captain America movie that was made years before this ever.
We gotta find that shit. We gotta find that and review that. Lluvia, please put that on the list.
I bet it's nuts.
Yeah,
I bet Captain America is just killing niggas. That's all.
I can't even imagine what the special effects would like. Is he like hanging on a string? Like what's happening in this 1944 movie? Wow.
Well, I imagine it's like the old school Captain America suit, and it's just I can't even imagine. I just think it's probably cuckoo bananas, and we're probably gonna hate it. But it was like, now that we got rid of the Nazis, let's go after the niggas. I just feel like that movie.
I mean, that's what happens.
Yeah, pretty much. But
that's what happens.
This movie, this is back to like just like the overall look of the movie, because it felt like the same, like a shittier version of the animatronics that we got in like the first Ninja Turtles movies. Actually, you know what? Like the third Ninja Turtle, the Turtles in Time movie, one where they go to feudal Japan. It's that. But it's just like a generic freaking ShopRite store brand of it.
You know what's crazy about real quick about Turtles 3? On my Spotify playlist, I randomly have Tarzan Man or Tarzan Boy, which is like the final song during the credits of that movie. And I immediately got angry because I thought of Turtles in Time. I was like, man, they fucked that up. Can't wait for the animated one.
Yeah.
But okay, did any of y'all ever like read a Howard the Duck comic or storyline? Anything? No. Is he always this raunchy and inept?
There was in like I can't remember like on what side of 9/11 it was, not to get bleak talking about Howard the Duck and 9/11 here, but like at some point there was like in the 2000s there was like a comic book line of like a reboot in comic book form, and I think I might have read one or two of those, but I think what happened in that series, as weird as it sounds, is there was this big like legal battle between the creator of Howard the Duck and Disney because they sued him. Actually, they said that, you know, that he looked too much like Donald Duck, and it was this whole thing, and they ended up reconciling. But I think Disney was already like in bed with Marvel at the time, so the creator of Howard the Duck in the first issue turns Howard into a mouse that looks like Mickey Mouse, and like it's at the end of this story arc he finally gets to turn back into a duck. So it's a Howard the Duck thing with like him not even being a duck for the whole one of the series.
Yeah. So
something like that, right? Do I have that a little bit off?
No, yeah. So basically, it was a nod at the whole Disney Marvel feud. So Howard the Duck actually wears pants because without pants, he looks too much like Donald Duck. Then,
well, I'm glad he wore pants because apparently they have the duck dicks because they had duck condoms in this movie, which was, and then Leah Thompson when she's like, Howard, I'm like, oh my god,
yeah. And then the fact is, it seemed like she was about to fuck the duck.
I definitely thought they were about to fuck. I had never seen this before, so I definitely thought there was going to be some duck, Leah Thompson sex. But I feel like I would have heard about that before.
Yeah, but I imagine they would have cut to, you know, it would have been like a cut to the next morning. She's like, that was the greatest sex I've ever had. It was like, well, a duck's got to do what a duck's got to do. You know, some weird shit like that. But
he did say madness like that. Howard the Duck was out of control in this movie.
I quacked the hell out of you.
Did they ever explain how he got to Earth, like that portal thing?
Yeah, they did.
It was just the laser thing. I mean, I don't know.
That was bringing back to other like things from different dimensions.
I didn't get a handle on like why they were doing that. Like, I mean, they explained how he got there through that portal machine thing, but I don't think they explained why they were doing that, right? Like what other they were like, oh, we don't want to bring like the crazy duck creatures or the dark overlords, but like we wanted to bring space aliens from some other planet. Like what were they trying to bring here?
No, the whole thing was an accident. So
they built that machine. What'd they build it
They
for?
kept using it,
Yeah, so they built that machine and it was supposed to be to look into the stars, like deeper out into other galaxies, but somehow the machine, you know, fucked up.
That doesn't make any sense.
Exactly.
That doesn't make so if you have a telescope, there is no telescope that can accidentally bring something from this. Like they clearly built that technology to be like, they needed a better answer in the movie. I don't understand it.
Listen, we're talking about a movie that has a duck character that talks about how he went to medical school because his parents wanted him to be a doctor and he was going to work in plastic surgery. And I was just like, this is already 20 minutes in and it's one of the craziest things I've ever seen. And I had to watch this sober because I have my godkids. So I was having a rough time.
This entire movie is complete and utter nonsense. Like for the most part in this film, like you got to the chase scene, which was them flying on like that helicopter plane thing, and like that went on for like 20 minutes.
Yeah,
and I was just like, what is happening in this movie? And like he's working at a massage parlor where it's just people just fucking in the pool.
Oh yeah, he said, "Do you want a towel? Antibiotics?" I was just like, "What is this movie rated?"
The guy who's running the place, it's seemingly he pulls a bra out of it
was like a mud bath thing or something. I don't even know what that like a lava.
It looked like it was packed full of shit.
It might have been honestly. Who knows?
Yeah. And then he gets knocked into it and he's completely covered in this stuff. I was like, what is?
Well, I wrote down the direction for every actor in this movie must have been just act batshit crazy. Because I mean, I was like, when Leah Thompson showed up, I was like, this is interesting. Because I used to have a huge crush on Leah Thompson. Like, but even, you know, besides Back to the Future, I watched Caroline the City because of Leah Thompson. Okay. So that's a deep cut for those of you that know. And and then when Tim Robbins showed up and then he was fucking nuts, I was like, oh, everyone was just told, act as wild as you can. You're acting with a robot duck, everybody.
Listen, this is one of those, man, I'm gonna tell you, like I got off the plane last night. So, you know, I was overseas, right? I took an 8-hour flight with 2 children who did not sleep that entire fucking flight. So I was tired. And I said, you know what? I know I'm not going to have the bandwidth to watch Howard the Duck tomorrow. So I'm going to watch it tonight. Everybody's asleep. And this kept me awake because I was so perplexed with a tired mind. I was just like, do I just murder myself now? Or what is going on? Like, this was the most batshit crazy film, one of the most batshit crazy films I've ever seen.
You know, I think what's funny to me is like there are movies that are bad that have like no budget, and you figure like that's kind of why they're bad. But I think in watching it today or rewatching it again, I was like, I forgot how many like explosions and special effects. Like, there's a lot of money clearly spent on this movie. Even like the duck suit, like, I mean, it doesn't look great, but at least, I mean, it was $2 million.
It cost $2 million according to Lluvia's research. Yeah.
Wow. So
wait, what? Just the duck suit?
Just the duck suit. This had a budget of $36 million in 1986. This is a huge
and made
budget.
$38 million, which is surprising.
It's a hit. 38 million. It's a success.
It made $1 million over what it was made for.
With their profits, they could buy another duck suit. That's about as much as they.
I mean, you know that this is definitely, if there's any furries out there, I imagine that this is like number one on their like, you know, dual watch list or something, you know, like that to get them going. This has to be. This is the closest besides Shape of Water.
Are furries like, into things with feathers? Is that a thing, or is there?
Well, it's soft, right? It's like you're
I
into
don't really
animals.
know the furry rules.
I think you're into animals, but you know, it's.
Hold on.
Well,
when you asked that question, Lluvia said no. Do you have insights on furries? Let's unmute this girl. Lluvia, do you have some insight on the furries?
I just watch TV and they explain it to me.
So what's the judge's ruling? Are furries into feathers or no?
I think it's just like any kind of animals, but I think it's mainly like in a mascot outfit. I only know this from like 1,000 Ways to Die. And that was like the first time I ever heard about furries.
Yeah, because you could even be like a snake or something like that. You could be like, as long as it's an animal, like you, yeah.
Oh, well, the snake, that's an easy one.
Oh my God.
Then I don't really think it's a furry thing. I think that's just a different, that's a little, I thought it was more like the texture of like like a Muppet, you know what I mean? Like that's what I thought like was the.
I mean, this was like a wax doll or something. This was not. I mean, this is clearly a little person in a duck suit that also wear suspenders and like Newsies pants. Like I don't know why he dressed like this in the movie. He looked crazy.
Yeah, he really did.
Like when he's interviewing with the mom from Soul Food, I was like, I don't know that was her, right? The actress was the mom from Soul Food.
The woman who was the temp agency lady.
Yeah, she was like, you know, they send me the Ruffins. I was like, what is going on?
The ones who don't want a job, and then I tell them with this hand, 5 fingers could make a slap, but together they strike a mighty blow.
It's weird how like in Cleveland, like half the citizens of Cleveland are freaked out by him, and like half the citizens in Cleveland
I wrote that down.
They're just kind of like, Howard the Duck, you know, whatever, no problem.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's
that opening sequence. Everyone looks outrageous, and that first, like when he first comes to Cleveland, and like it's like the biker gang, like it's like the 80s threw up on that entire sequence in terms of like everyone's look is out of control.
That was so crazy. I mean, and the fact that Leah Thompson like is just trying to get home and almost getting sexually assaulted, like that was wild. Then Howard
Cleveland.
He's in the trash can.
I mean,
just like,
guys, Cleveland, the lake was on fire. Water was on fire in Cleveland. That is true shit. So therefore, anything can happen.
Howard the Duck was like the least of their worries in Cleveland.
Exactly.
Yeah, I wrote down in my notes, I'm like, was this just an 80s thing? Because, you know, what Roadhouse and now this movie, I'm like, where bands were so unsafe at bars that they had to perform behind a fence? Like, what is going on?
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's going to be artists now because all these motherfuckers getting hit in the heads with cell phones and shit.
With cell phones?
Yeah, you haven't heard if it's like BB Rexa, she got hit with something hard. She had she had to get stitches. Harry Styles got hit with a phone or something. Someone got hit with I think Drake got hit with a bottle. Like, yeah, it's getting crazy out there. People are trying to like go viral for hitting.
I gotta start fucking practicing my wheel kicks, my spinning wheel kicks.
Quack foo.
Are you
oh God!
Are you gonna do it in raw denim with no underwear like Patrick Swayze?
Yeah, that's the only way. That's the only way. Jumping split kicks right to the face with my dick just rubbing all against.
They don't make them like that no more. They don't.
And the tightest jeans ever. And every time I have sex with a woman, raw dog. AIDS doesn't exist, guys.
Every other movie we do, we should just do Roadhouse. We should just talk about Roadhouse again. But I mean, this movie was also, there had like a lot of weird fight scenes, and I would not be surprised if that bar was the same bar set from Roadhouse. It looked very similar. You know, the one where the managers clearly taking all their money, the band with the pretty much should have been yeah, they should have been twirling their evil mustaches. And then Howard gets all upset and runs across the bar. And I was just like, this is so weird and awkward.
It's also weird when Howard finally gets the money, it looks like it's like $3. Like it's like $3 bills. It's like this money that they were like, it's like what was it, like a MacGuffin, right? It's like this thing that he's got to get, but like it's like no money.
I mean, they were making money. I mean, Leah Thompson was essentially living in a shelter that just happened to have like a large room for her or something, like, because when she walked in, I thought she was a squatter in that building. And then she goes into a loft area. I'm like, oh, this isn't terrible, especially for like the late 80s.
Until those guys just walk right into her apartment. The door was open. I'm pretty sure there was no door, man.
Watching her making out with a duck. And then he's just like, we're just real good friends. And I'm like, this lady was bent out over in all fours in her underwear. And she's just like, oh, Howard, I'm just teasing you. I'm like, I really genuinely thought we were going to see some really freaky shit. I was saying, this is why this movie's epic.
God,
not epic in a good way. It's just like, it's very well known this movie's batshit crazy.
Rated PG.
Yep.
If I take my kids to see this movie in the 86, I'd be like, I mean, you may as well just start doing cocaine because there's no good influences left in the world.
So, and that's a question. It's funny because looking up this movie and doing a little bit of research, it seems that everybody was just like, okay, so this isn't made for kids, but it's also not made for adults. Who is this movie made for?
But you know what? I feel like movies in the 80s were just kind of like, I mean, like, so it's weird because I feel like if it works, you kind of forgive it. And if it doesn't work, then you like, so like Back to the Future, like Marty's, like his mother's in love with him. Like if that movie was a hot mess, we'd be going like, what is that movie? But like, or even like, I don't know, I feel like there's a ton of PG movies in the 80s that are just like outrageous for today's kids. But
even the 90s.
And the 90s. I mean, we all turned out okay enough. Watching
the fact we're watching Howard the Duck.
Yeah. Well, that's true. That's true. But you know, it's just a weird thing because I can sort of I feel like it's almost like two different movies because once we get into that whole like Jeffrey Jones thing, like then the movie like becomes this whole other weird. They're both weird, but they're like two different weird movies that are like sandwiched together. This thing.
Yeah, when Jeffrey Jones shows up and starts talking in a weird voice. I mean, the whole Tim Robbins storyline too. So he went from being a lab assistant to then getting a criminal record, being arrested at the end, to then being their stage manager who's dressed like the Riddler. Like that's his story arc in this movie. It was insane. Like Tim Robbins was out of it. Tim Robbins looked unhinged in this movie.
He kind of looked like Slash the Riddler / the fucking the Six Flags guy. Remember the guy who used to dance outside of the buses in the commercial? Like it was like a younger version of that. I was like, what is going on? But this whole entire movie is just out of control. Like, oh my God. Like I feel like I wasn't sure. Like there was a time when I was watching this film where I was just like, wait a second, am I kind of like hallucinating a little bit because I'm so tired and jet lagged? Like this can't be that bad. And I had to go back and I'm just like, no, I did see exactly what I saw. Like that's how crazy this film is.
Yeah, I mean, when she's dragging him to the laboratory in a bag, and it makes it look like she's got like some kind of like she either has a victim or a dead body in there. That was crazy. Like I was just like, and then like it turns out she didn't even know that Tim Robbins was a lab assistant, but he was like hooking up with her bandmate or something, right? Because he came into late to the show at the first one, and he's like, "Oh, I was late for the show, but I'm here to see you undress." And I was like,
clearly, I don't really get what Tim Robbins like. You mentioned in his arc, but like there was one key piece that he's like somehow friends with the guy with the laser, and I'm like, why is the guy who's a lab assistant hooked up with like the people at the when he's getting like the little feather sample, and he's like, I have to take this back to my friends at the lab. It's like, why is he friends with people with this laser thing? I don't quite get what that is either.
I don't think the director / writer Willard Hayek knew, and I guess his wife co-wrote this with him, which is surprising because the way that Howard kept calling people toots, and the way they were just objectifying women and like making them just. Like I said, Howard is a fuckboy, both on his duck world and also trying to be in the real world. Like,
well, I mean, he literally said is like, I need to try me out some of this human persuasion. He's just like, yeah, I need to fuck me a human. I gotta say, Leah Thompson, when she came out in the little lingerie, I was
that's
like,
what I'm saying. Yeah,
I told you going on under there, and then Howard just ruined that entire scene. I'm just like, this is getting weird.
Justin had his dick out too. That started happening. He's like, oh no, the duck is messing it up. Yo, weird.
I was just like, hey, let's get the ducks and pussy. The fucker, the Howard. But then all of a sudden they just went crazy. That's right.
It was weird because he got very sheepish, which almost made it childish. And it's like, again, to the demographic for the movie, it's like, all right, now we're in a comfortable, weird tonal unevenness that's making.
So are you saying that you would have liked it better if Howard was just like, yeah, let's do it?
I think that's what.
Yes, you know what? It's almost like it almost kind of gave me a Beavis and Butthead vibe.
Oh, when he hooked up with Demi Moore's character in the movie.
Oh, I didn't even see the Beavis and Butthead Do America, right?
You never seen that?
No.
Oh, it's crazy.
But I watched the show. A few times when I was a kid, and it's just like it always seems like it just never works out for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, they would screw it up or just somehow it just cancels itself out. And but like that scene gave me very Beavis and Butthead vibes from it. I don't know why, but that's the first thing that jumped in my head. But it's like it has that like really shitty MTV vibe from the 90s. If that makes
sounds
sense.
like you're both disappointed that Dr. Jennings walked in.
What? I mean, for someone, like I said, for someone that had a crush on Leah Thompson and had never seen this movie before, I definitely was like in a positive headspace at that time. But then, like Justin said, Howard just ruined it. And Howard's not a likable protagonist, by the way.
No.
There's nothing that's like interesting about him. He's constantly an asshole. But then, like, Leah Thompson has no real reason to entertain him. Like, just because he's lost in the rain, she looks at him all sad. She's like, "Let me take you back to my half a shelter place." And then as he like gets undressed, she's like, "What am I gonna do with you, Ducky?" And I was just like, "Oh goodness gracious!"
You know what, guys? I think what it really comes down to is I was just curious to see what the duck dick looked like.
Oh God!
I mean,
right, well,
we needed it to cast a shadow on the wall or something like that. What's going on?
It
but
can't
also
be
at the same time
that condom was real small.
Condom was really tiny. Someone was like, "What's going on here?"
You felt like the condom was like foreshadowing that didn't get paid off because of the.
It's like the loaded gun in the movie.
Yeah,
it's got to go up.
If you're gonna show me the duck condom, you better put that thing on.
I better see that dick.
Okay, I gotta add, okay, so there's a lot of crazy dialogue that happened in this movie. Also the bandmate and Leah Thompson's band, one of the actresses was from Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Holly Robinson.
Yeah, Holly Robinson.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Beautiful woman.
Okay.
Respect her.
Also, the reason why I also thought that they were gonna fuck was because Leah Thompson, Howard the Duck says, "I have a headache," and then she says, "And I've got the aspirin," and that's what I was like. In my personal experience, that usually means the deal is you're good. It was just.
Is that the moment? So wait, what is the moment when Howard starts getting like nervous in that sequence? Like when does he start being like
that?
Oh, is that the line?
That's
okay.
when he starts like,
she was like, all right, well then let's do it. He's just like, yeah.
So he knew what it meant too. So even though the aspirin is like like throughout the universe, that's what that means. Galaxy wide. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I thought like at first, like, she's like, "Oh, come on, let's go to bed and watch Dave Letterman." And I was like, "Oh, this is a very platonic thing." And then she just starts flirting with him, and I was like, "Oh, like." And then I actually wrote down, this is young Brandon, mind you, angrily writing this. I said, he gets to fuck Leah Thompson.
I watched 3 seasons of Caroline in the City.
I did. I really did. I was furious.
This is all it takes. I need to get a duck costume.
I did write down that when they first like connected, I was like, okay, so she either wants to fuck this duck or she wants to eat this duck. There's no in between. Because the way it was like, because she seemed poor enough where she might kill this motherfucker and preserve him for a few weeks. Or she was flirting with him. Either way, if it's something nefarious going on.
Can I just also point out the fact that Howard the Duck is questionably said to be 27 years old?
No, is that real?
Yes,
he's 27.
He's supposed to be 27 years old, but the way that this character is played, it seems like he's about 47.
I'll be honest, I never really thought about his age, but 27 seems like the wrong number. I don't know what number I thought was the right number, but wow.
27 from maybe 1937, that would make sense. The way he was talking with the cigars and like it felt weird because it always felt like Howard didn't quite come to reality in regards to his situation on Earth. Like he didn't quite understand, like, hey, I don't have any money, so I need to.
But he got the job. He got the job at the little massage.
Yeah, but he's still smoking a cigar. I mean, I guess it is like a sex worker spot. So I guess he's not, trying to be classy or anything. But it was just weird the way he carried himself. It was like half serious, half just like, and then the whole third act was madness. Like I wrote down, why does this feel like it's 4 hours? And then also what is happening? Like I didn't understand the whole demon took over Jeffrey Jones. And then then the demon got out of him and became a whole thing. And then like, I felt bad because those effects did not hold up.
Oh no, they were terrible.
And I was just like, but at the time, a lot of money went into that. Yeah. And so you're just like, oh damn. Like that didn't feel good. But there was nothing about Howard that was like, he could save the day. He could barely save himself.
You didn't think a 27-year-old, 3-foot tall duck from outer space could save the day? That you didn't have confidence?
You know what's funny? Because there were, like I said earlier, like I know I'd seen this movie before, but there were parts I was like, oh, okay, I clearly remember this part. And for some reason, one of the parts I remember was the end where he's riding around in that little car with the laser on it. And because that thing is so stupid to see this little duck riding on a car as opposed to just, hey, shoot this damn thing with a fucking laser and just get it over with. But he's driving a little car laser thing towards it and then shoots it at the same. It's like, why am I watching this?
So can I ask, because so when I was watching it today, I was like trying to figure out, do you think that's a real like location, or is that a set? Like where did they actually film this thing? Because I was looking at the size of that laser. Like, I think that's an actual built prop, but it looks huge.
I'm
like,
sure they maybe filmed that at Skywalker Ranch. I'm sure George Lucas probably personally had that.
I imagine they was probably filmed at like a planetarium or something like that. Or like that in my head. I was like, this was probably filmed at a planetarium.
So that makes sense.
They just dressed it up to like the big telescope or something like that.
That makes sense. Because I was just like, I hope they didn't build that thing for this movie. I mean, they might have, but I was just trying to figure out, like, where did the money go, in this movie? Like, because there's a lot of it. There's a lot of it spent in this thing. Like, and then there's like these weird sequences where like the Dark Overlord, like that long thing comes out of his mouth, like his he charges he charges it in the like the lighter, the cigarette lighter socket. I'm like,
there was a lot of sexual innuendos, not just with Howard. And for me, I was like, oh, this is like if you a freak, if you into like hentai and like furry shit and stuff, this is your movie. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying, like, if you are sexually open to that stuff, this is probably like, you probably have this shit on VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, digital purchase, everything.
Do you think furries are also into the tentacle, into the cigarette lighter socket?
No, I'm not. I don't mean to conflate the two. Like, they're actually separate things. But I think this movie has a lot of diversity in regards to sexual appeal that's outside the mainstream, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, because you kind of have some high hentai in there as well. Like,
you got big. You got big.
There's some shots of duck feet as well, so that you got duck feet.
Yeah. You got the foot fetish thing going on too.
Yeah, you got the bestiality thing. You got the big black booty thing because he wants to chomp her butt at one point.
Yeah, that was weird.
You got the duck. Yeah, this is why. Then you also have that voice, and some people might be into that voice because that was a weird. Do y'all know who was originally cast apparently in this role?
I do know. I know. I won't say. Go ahead.
Caseen, share it with them.
It's Robin Williams, right?
Yeah. It's just that. Yeah, it's just that they already on the set they had the lines are read by puppeteers, so there was no ability because we know about this from Aladdin. There's no ability for Robin Williams to improvise the way that he does, and so they ended up parting ways.
Oh, that would be nuts. That would be fucking nuts.
That'd be a whole other vibe. He would definitely be fucking Leah Thompson if Robin Williams had his way.
Oh my God.
He said, the voices I can come up with. Oh yeah, let's do that.
Dr. Jennings, you go wait in the hallway.
Think of the babbling. Think of the fucking mad babbling that Howard the Duck would be doing if it were Robin Williams.
It would have made more sense. Howard should lose his mind based on what's happened to him.
Does he doesn't.
Oh my God.
He's never really freaked out though, right?
No, after the first day, he kind of adjusts very quickly and just like gripes because everyone's either half of Cleveland's like receptive towards him or the other half like treat him like shit and throw him around and beat him up and stuff. It's like, but he's still very indifferent most of the movie.
Can I ask a question since we've sort of circled back to this bedroom sequence? If this was like,
we're not talking about anything but this bedroom.
If there was a sequel, like let's say this was successful, there was a sequel and like Leah Thompson got like blasted to Duck World through that laser telescope thing, like how many days does that character go before she sleeps with a duck in the Duck World?
Probably at least a day. I think it'd be pretty quick.
I would say it'd be hours. I would say it would be hours because she seemed she was the moment she got Howard to her apartment, she was pretty on board. Because Ducky, you don't put a Y at the end of somebody's name unless you thinking about it. That's all I know.
So whatever said, hey Justin E, you were like, I am in there like swooping.
No. If a woman ever in my singles they call me Justy, I know there's gonna be a Y at the end of that night. If you know what I mean, sexy.
Justy, I got the aspirin. Yeah, it's like, okay, all right.
I mean, I can't believe Leah Thompson did this. I mean, this is like
she was young, man.
I know you're a young actress.
So I have a funny thing because I wrote this Back to the Future book, and so I spoke to Leah Thompson about this, and she said, she said this was like the greatest lesson of her career because she did Back to the Future, and it was such a huge hit, and it was so competitive to get this part in Howard the Duck, and then it was a complete flop, and she was like, okay, this is like the roller coaster of being in Hollywood, like absolute top, absolute bottom, and that's not like a duck in bed joke. That's just like but she, but she was like, it was a great lesson to learn. Like in case I like thought I like got too hot, you're only one Howard the Duck away from being in trouble.
A part of me thinks that this movie was just to clean some money. Maybe this was just a front. Because, like, all right, so if you read some of the stuff about the development of this, they said originally the storyline, they wanted to have the character transported to Hawaii because, like, we thought it'd be fun to shoot there. So they were just like, yo, let's ride him into Hawaii and we get a free Hawaiian trip on the studio. Like, so they weren't taking this seriously, right?
Well, yeah, but like I said, George Lucas, he needed the money. He had to start selling furniture and Darth Vader rights and shit because this movie bombed.
George was like, yo, ride him in Hawaii because I ain't gonna be able to get there forever. This is my last opportunity.
This
what
movie,
is was there a plot for this? There wasn't a plot yet for this Hawaii thing. Like, I'm just trying to think of like what is Howard doing in Hawaii besides just like.
So that was the early script that they wanted to send to Hawaii.
Got it.
Also, they weren't going to actually talk about how Howard showed up, like how he got to Earth.
Oh, he's just there.
Yeah, he was just there. And then later on, there was like, nah, maybe we should show Duck World. So then they backtracked and then wrote in Duck World.
Do you think it would have been better if it was just like the movie starts and like Howard's walking around Cleveland?
I think if you just had a world where like Howard's just there and like you slowly maybe reveal how he got there. I actually think for comedy purposes, it'd just be hilarious if you never talked about how Howard's there. It's just like an adventure with Howard and like stuff like that. But that's just me being
Does Howard know how he's there? Or is it like Memento? Is he just kind of like
that's even okay, so if you go to Memento route, that piques interest and can potentially set up like a franchise. But if you just go with like he knows why he's there, but he's just dealt with the reality, then it's just like pure comedy. But either path is interesting, more interesting than what we got.
Well, I mean, then I guess that would make why Howard is so ready to fuck a human, because he's been there for a while. He's just like, yeah, I've been seeing y'all humans get it on, and this is like, listen, I need in. It's been 4 days. Come on, baby. Somebody give me something.
The way he watches like people rub up on everyone, like at the massage parlor or wherever he was at, I was just like, that's so creepy. And those eyes that he had, I was like, this is so unsettling.
Even though I was not very happy when you see those people like, oh, get a room, da 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 da, and he sees a black couple, and he's just like National Geographic making some.
Is that what he says? Oh wow!
It was kind of it's kind of racially charged, and I was just like, oh, word, Howard, fuck this duck.
Are you surprised this dude drinks martinis, smokes cigars, and dresses up like he's a Joseph from the Technicolor Dreamcoat musical? He's out of his fucking mind. Like, there's nothing rational about this dude. Yeah, he's gonna be a racist. It's 1986 in Cleveland, Ohio.
There are a shortage of black people.
He's at the bottom of the totem pole.
For like the inner city Cleveland.
What'd you say, Cassie?
I was saying there aren't a lot of black people in the movie for like inner city Cleveland besides the social worker lady.
Yep.
And Holly Robinson, I guess. That's it.
And the people fucking in the what you call it?
I mean, what does that one gangster say? He said duck kebab because he's about to stab Howard. I was like, what kind of bar is this? This really is the Roadhouse bar. Or it's just, is that what was happening in the 80s? You go to a bar, you might get stabbed?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Cleveland. I mean, I keep going back to I mean, they clearly they chose Cleveland for a reason, right? They were like, what is the one city in America? Well, it was either Cleveland or Florida. They were going to send Howard to. Like, those are the only places where you could walk around and people would be like, maybe, you know.
Yeah, it's like Cleveland has Howard the Duck and the Drew Carey Show. So, I mean, what do you expect?
Oh, there was
woman with the makeup.
Yeah.
And she probably would have fit right into this movie.
She might have been in it. Everyone was wearing like crazy wigs and makeup throughout the whole movie. So
yeah, that's definitely true. Well, there's a quote. Oh yeah, there was also like a kind of transphobic joke, I guess, where Howard's like, "Oh great, like a sex change or something," and I was like, "What?"
Oh yeah.
It was a joke with how someone was referring to another person. It was like them or like it was just like that, and like it was a play on words. And then he said that response. And I was just like, oh boy, the 80s. They were just like, everyone can get a string.
Let's go, baby.
And then at the end, when Leah Thompson, her character says, Howard, this word didn't treat you very good, but you saved it. I was like, fuck you.
She really plays it very seriously. Like it's kind of weird because I feel like the movie would almost be better if everyone just like had more fun with it. Like some people are really taking it way too seriously. And then you have like Tim Robbins, who's like, he's like the only, as crazy as his character is, I feel like he's like the only person who actually understands what movie he's in. You know what I mean? This is like a 3-foot talking duck wearing pants and smoking a cigar. He's the person in the right movie.
He's like, we need to cash out. Cash out on this motherfucker. We need to send them back. No, get him on Sally Jesse Raphael and let's make some money off of this fucking duck.
I do think this could have worked if they had waited a few more years and gotten the whole Happy Madison crew. And you have David Spade do the voice of Howard the Duck, and you just have nonstop madness with young Adam Sandler and that whole thing. I definitely think there's a potential hit here where they could have done a similar story. I think it came out a few years too early. I think there's a sweet spot in the 90s where this could have worked.
So there's a fun fact. I don't know if you guys saw this, but you know, the original plan was for Howard to be animated. I don't know if you saw. Yeah. So it was supposed to be like a Roger Rabbit thing, but they weren't going to make the deadline, the release date. The studio had like a release date, and so they weren't going to make it. So they scrapped that idea and went with like the person in the suit, like the puppet kind of thing. But I don't know if the movie would be better because I think just like the plot is kind of whacked out. But I think it might have been just more interesting if they actually had done the Roger Rabbit thing.
Yeah, I think so too. Because also I think the suit is very distracting. Because if you look at the Howard the Duck character from the comics and such, this suit doesn't necessarily match that very well. And he almost looks just a bloated piece of duck shit floating on the screen, and it looks really weird, and the eyes and all. So if they went animated, then they could have had Robin Williams, and overall it would have probably been a much better, a better received film, because the weird would have worked out a lot easier in this. And then they could have also probably played the kind of, because you know, like Howard the Duck has like own detective agency, you know, at one point in the comics and things like that. So like that part would have been easier to kind of work. But then again, that's very close to Dick Tracy. So not Dick Tracy, Who Framed Howard, Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Roger Rabbit.
Just mixing it all up.
Who Framed Howard Rabbit?
But you know, I like the idea of like so much more of Howard. Like if this movie was like a noir, like he was like solving crimes. Yeah, I think that could have been a better movie, a much better movie.
But that's what, from the comics. But that's closer to the original text than whatever the fuck this was.
Yeah.
So before we get to our official ratings, we did get some Patriot thoughts on Howard the Duck. And folks, remember, if you sign up for Patreon at patreon.com/mediapopcorn, you're guaranteed to have your thoughts and reviews of that upcoming film read on our review. So first up is Simba Jackson, who's actually joining us live. That's another perk of Patreon. You can join us live when we record these episodes. Wrote 2 words: duck tits. There we go. And then Jeffrey McKinney wrote, I don't know whose idea this was, but they fucked up. This doesn't have anything in common with the comic book. So those are the thoughts of our Patriots. And now, folks, we rate movies on bags of popcorn scales, small, medium, large, XL for the exception of a movie doesn't deserve a bag of popcorn. It goes into the dog shit pile where we pile piles and piles of dog shit on top of it. So Caseen Gaines.
Oh boy. Now listen, I'm gonna say, because I have a feeling we're going in the pile, but I'm gonna make one little appeal for at least a small bag of popcorn. For one reason. I think the music is okay. Like I think Leah Thompson singing, like I think those sequences, I don't know about the sequences, but I think like the songs are all right enough. You know what I mean? Like I think there's a little bit of redemptive value for at least a small bag of popcorn.
I can see
why. That's it. And I made my case for the small bag of popcorn, and it's a music-based case.
So you're giving a small bag of popcorn purely because you enjoyed the music.
Yeah, I think the music is like 80s, but I wouldn't say it holds up for the 80s. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't sound like something like you listen to now, but I mean you've got, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 on your playlist. So I would at least put the Howard the Duck on that same playlist, I think.
No. Well, I mean, this is much better, but I have the song Tarzan Boy.
I know. Yeah.
Not an association of Turtles in time, but now when I play it, because we reviewed that movie not too long ago, it triggers something to me now. So that's where I'm at. But okay, so small popcorn. Justin, what say you about Howard the Duck?
So this movie was 111 minutes. And when I 111, I was like, oh, wow, 111 in sequence is an angel number. So I just wanted to look it up. And it says the angel number 111 encourages individuals to take risks and welcome fresh experiences in their relationships. And I thought about that. I was just like, you know what? That makes me think that this movie is offering a fresh take into my life. And that's why it's 111 fresh piles of dog shit. I hated this movie. I don't know what was going on. I think that Howard the Duck should have never showed up in Guardians of the Galaxy, should have never showed up in Endgame. They should bury this character and just make it like it never happened. Marvel should stay away from Howard the Duck and avoid him like the plague. But that's just me. What say you, Brandon?
I mean, I'm sorry, Caseen, but yeah, I'm giving this at least 100 and what was it, 111 minutes or something like that. Runtime. I'm giving this 111 piles of dog shit. This is really bad. This is
angel number, baby.
Rough.
Let's go.
The third act literally dragged on forever. I was like, there was times where I'm like, how is this movie still going?
Yes.
And I zoned out. I was like, oh, we're still like dealing with this whole diner thing. And then like, oh, now there's a monster. And I'm supposed to believe that Howard the Duck and this band lady who wants to fuck him terribly are supposed to save the universe. Okay, guys. And I know I can suspend disbelief. Obviously, I love movies and ventures and sci-fi wackiness, but Howard's design is unsettling. If I had seen this when I was a child in this context, not only would I be a little bit weirder in regards to a sexual level, probably, but also I'd be terrified to watch this movie because Howard's design, that's the shit that can haunt your dreams, like a Chucky doll. The eyes are terrifying, dude.
Yeah, they are.
The way they like were flapping and like they looked discolored, it was never again. But Caseen Gaines, thank you so much for joining us. Please tell our listeners how they can follow you on the social medias as well as keep up with what you're doing.
Yes, so I'm on social media at Caseen Gaines. That's CASEENGAINES, and I'm all over, including was it Thread? And I don't really know what I'm doing over there, but I'm there too. So find me anywhere.
All right. And Justin, how about you? And how can people support the show financially? They choose to do so.
Guys, you can follow me at J Brown Ditto on all the socials. I'm everywhere. But you can support the show at patreon.com/medium popcorn. We have $2, $5, $10, and $15 packages. Our entire backlog goes on the Patreon. We have bonus episodes. We got mini shows. We have so much stuff on our Patreon. If you're not on there, guys, this is where you need to be because that's where we pop the fuck off. So again, that's patreon.com/medium popcorn. Brandon.
That's right. And you can remember to follow the show at Medium P Podcast and all social media platforms. Go to youtube.com/Medium P Podcast. Push that subscribe button so you get alert about all future reviews. Because of the actor strike, we will not be doing any actor interviews for obvious reasons. But definitely check it out if you want to see our ugly mugs as we talk about movies and our support for the WGA and SAG-AFTRA. Caseen, thank you again so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. And we hope to have you on again soon. We'll talk hopefully about a movie that's a little bit more we're more enthusiastic about on
fewer
creative.
Ducks, no more ducks.
Yes.
Unless them dicks are being shown.
Imagine we invite Caseen back for The Shape of Water, like another review of it.
Oh no.
We're like, hey, so she wants to fuck this fish thing again, right?
Caseen and bestiality. That's what it's all about.
Oh god.
That's what it is, I guess. For the furry crowd.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Thanks,
Thank
brother.
you.
Peace.